What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock. And we have a special guest with us here tonight, Michael Bratta.
Yes, correct. You got it.
All right.
2 for 2.
I always second guess myself with names because
That's all right.
that's just how I am.
A repeat guest.
Yes, you get that honor.
Yes, thank you. It's nice to be back. Thanks for having me.
After like 2 weeks away, you're back.
Right? That just means we like you more than everybody else.
Oh, good.
You haven't big time us like Sam Luptak.
Yes. He's going to be mentioned on this broadcast tonight. I'll hold on to that for a minute until it's relevant. But so yeah, we've got 2 classic Champions of the Galaxy characters to discuss tonight from the Invasion 2090 set. We have Iron Mane and the updated Krakan Hitman for Hire. My
Hey,
card
Michael,
is very
how
bent.
do you say his name?
I say Kraken.
Somebody else who knows. Before we get too far into this, before I forget, let me just show off this little gem from last year's virtual Galacticon. Here's our friend Michael as Kraken, where he took home the prize for the costume contest, which was well deserved.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, he's got the clap from us.
Yes.
Good.
I think we were saying in the chat that if he doesn't win, it's rigged. So, we always have side conversations. We probably shouldn't talk about that on the air.
Well, I didn't have too much competition. There were only a few, but not many people dressed up.
It's true, but you still should have won.
Oh, thank you.
He went
Hands
above
down.
and beyond.
Yes. Even grew a mustache.
Yeah, well, I had the mustache before. Actually, if I unplug my friend's band, he has a band called Killer Robots, and they have me being a recurring character in their videos that is chasing down the robots. So I actually had a mustache and a goatee and shaved off the goatee for it just so I can have the mustache. Keep
Nice.
the mustache. So.
What was the name of the band again?
Killer Robots.
All right. We're going to, if you give us a link to that, we'll put it in the description.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely.
If we ever figure out why that's not working in our meta, but that's for me to figure out. Anyway, we'll get back to our topic at hand. Which character should we start off with here?
We'll start off with Iron Mane because Michael has said that he hasn't got to him yet. So it'll just kind of
okay.
Be
We'll build up to the main event of Kraken as well.
He came in what, 2090?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had him take on Spike in his for his first feud.
Right on.
And he lost miserably.
Yeah. He did. He's outmatched there for sure.
Yeah.
But he was definitely an upgrade for the Animan team.
Yeah.
Over Reptilo.
But he's held quite a few gold, like with Incredible Badger and Battering Ram. I thought they were going to be the team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to be amazing, but for some reason Iron Mane clicked better.
Yeah.
You know, Battering Ram's the better wrestler. Like he's got the better card, the better stats, but for some reason they clicked. So Iron Mane and Badger won the War Games tag, the GWF tag twice, and the Intergalaxian tag once.
Well, they did become an official tag team in the next year, the Beasts of Burden.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they worked so well together.
And he captured 3 GWF TV titles and 1 Intergalaxian title. So he's still currently wrestling for me. He's battling for the GWF TV title again,
Okay.
but I think his title days are past him. We're in 2105. The power creep's going on quite strong. He's just
Yeah.
and he's been wrestling like 15 years. So I'll be retiring him soon. He's probably supposed to retire probably well before this. But
Yeah.
I just like him enough where I just kept him around.
He didn't have a very long GWF run. He was only active officially from 2090 to 2098. And he never received an update.
Yeah, so I've kept him along just 7 years.
Yeah, it's all good.
But it goes to show that's how much I like the guy.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite Animen. He was one of those characters I wished always would have gotten updated because he was such an interesting character. But he was a lion. He should be a little tougher, I think. And I'd like to see him progress a little bit in that sense. But I used him a lot. And he won some secondary titles for me, never a main title. He was definitely a tag team champion. I can't remember for how long with Badger, but they definitely won those tag titles on more than one occasion, probably. But he's one of those characters I wish would have gotten an update at some point.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing using the 2090, the updated, the color updated one. So I'm looking at his card, and he has four Iron Manes, reversals on on level 1. I don't know did he have that in the original?
He did in fact have that. So he was tough to get to level 2. His defense is solid though, down the card, honestly.
Yeah, he's overall he's a solid guy.
Mm-hmm. He's got the rare death jump with the double out of the ring on level 3 offense. You don't see that too often.
Well, back then too, there was no roll up. You just re-rolled.
Okay.
So that's probably what made him kind of dangerous back then was because of that.
Yeah, because one of the out of the rings went straight through, but the other two, the death jump and out of the ring, you could roll.
Death jump is a choice. So you had a 1 in 3 chance of rolling a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
Back then.
His charts were solid. He had a B in ropes and an A in everything else.
Yeah.
His disqualification was a 6, so he got disqualified often. And he had a -2 agility and a -1 power.
Yeah, like I said, a solid wrestler through and through.
Mm-hmm.
I had him coming in at 6'3", 250 pounds.
All right, what's his official? It's pretty close. 6'4", 259 pounds. What's his color card say, Michael? Is it the same?
It says 6'4", 248.
Oh, they shrunk him a little bit.
So.
A little more svelte.
Just a little bit.
Is he wearing silver armor in the color card?
Yeah, you want me to show it to you? Oh, you got that's pretty sweet artwork right there.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Oh, I've never even seen that.
The update.
I do like his full body pose though.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's the one thing I noticed on the early cards. It was almost always full body poses. Chuck Carter didn't do a lot of, extreme close-ups. Oh. We just lost Brock.
I'm still here.
Oh.
Got his handsome face here.
Yeah, I had a guest appearance and she didn't have clothes on. So my camera is out at the moment, but I'm still here.
Yep.
Oh, parent of toddlers.
Yeah.
Get us kicked right off of YouTube.
And let's see, so he's 15 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's won 7 of his feuds in 15 years.
Pretty good.
I had him do a heel turn the last 2 years.
He looks like he could be a heel.
Yeah.
Especially with that new updated art that Michael just showed us. He looks like a badass.
Yeah, I had all the Anti-Men turn heel, but in 2106 I'm going to turn him face. But Iron Man I'll probably retire him this year.
Okay. Sam Looptack, that was the segue to that. He actually made a heel version of Iron Man named Hellcat, I believe.
I have that card.
I do too. I couldn't find it today because I wasn't home. But
if I was thinking about that, I could have dug it out.
maybe we'll show it next time we talk about bootlegs.
Yeah, that's an idea. But what would you do to improve this Iron Man card?
I don't know. He's already pretty tough.
Yeah.
I guess what would kind of push him to maybe a higher tier is bump the final pounce to a +3. Or lower his disqualification. Those are the only two things. Like even the final pounce at +2 isn't bad, especially for the time.
I don't mind guys with a 6 DQ. That's never bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
That just means they're a little more violent.
Right.
And I know a lot of people back when the hardcore title was in. He used to have a lot of battles for the hardcore titles for a lot of people.
Kevin Weibel has it's a little bit early for this, but he has a house rule that the only people that can contend for his hardcore title are people who have a DQ 6 and up, which I think is kind of cool.
No, that actually makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to Kevin there.
Yeah.
At least we're telling a story about him where I'm not dumping a dice bag on him.
Yeah, when you're being a big jerk. Yeah, he told me that at one of the events we ran at the comic book store one year. I thought that was kind of cool.
Speaking of Kevin Weibel, you want to see something interesting? Kevin did his own bootleg card.
There he is. I have that card too.
Yeah, there's the back for it. His finisher, the Steel City Drop. He's a tag team with Jim Steinhoff with hair.
That shows you how long ago those were made.
Yeah. Silent Assassin and the Magnificent One, as they were called.
Nice.
Those are some bootlegs that people probably never would have. What the hell?
I have to put them in a tag team tournament. I miss the days where everybody brought bootlegs, just to go off topic a little bit.
Oh yeah. But
those were the days.
Some of those bootlegs were, ridiculous, but they were fun in a way.
Mm-hmm. It's always fun to collect them. Oh, excuse me.
As I'm literally going through hundreds of them looking for this help.
Just wait. We'll talk about it another time.
And but yeah, I'd have to do the same thing. I'd have to up his finisher to at least a +3.
Okay.
Or give him take away, say, one of the out of the rings and give him a double finisher, like a 0+1.
Okay. That would beef him up a bit too.
Those are the things that I would attempt on him.
Mm-hmm. Because he's right on that cusp of being a main event guy, honestly.
Yeah. That and a +3 finisher could do it, especially back then.
Mm-hmm. She didn't have too many 4-1 pin ratings at the time.
That new. What about you, Mike? What would you do to improve him?
I think I agree with you. Take out one of the out of the rings and give him another move. I mean, I'm looking here at the color card. He's got 4 and 5. He's got 2, 3 offensive, threes on there. So yeah, I think just the out of the ring and maybe advance the pounce like they have in some cards now, where as it goes on, you know, maybe starts at a 0 and then every time he does it, it goes up.
That would make sense, especially for that move.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. Like I noticed Kurt Angle has that on his as well. His card gets more powerful, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the first guy I ever saw that with, where the finisher goes up.
It was fairly late, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember wrestling Corey Olson in a tournament, and I had that guy. Some kind of hunter guy or kill prey, I think it might have been.
Okay.
Some guy who's, now I could easily be wrong because, you know, I'm just entering 2105.
Yeah. So you haven't met Kill Prey officially yet.
No.
But I think you're right though, because his finisher was Ambush, I think is what it was called. I think it did have some kind of add to it mechanic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop looking because I literally have hundreds of these.
Nice.
Now, when you guys introduce a character like Iron Mane, how does he just show up, or is there talk about him before? How did you do it in your fed?
Brock
believe-
probably just threw him in there.
I did. He just showed up one day.
We discussed this back when Brock started playing. He literally just would, every wrestler, even if they had cards, the old I don't know if you've heard, but Brock had a tag team of Dreadnought and Comrade Terror.
No, I did not hear that.
Sure. I did. They did well. I'm not going to explain it again. Like, if you guys want to know why I did it, go back and listen to like the first 5 episodes. I'm going to explain it again. Back in the day, they used to, every time you ordered something, they would send you like a half sheet of paper of all the stuff that's available. And they just had special edition cards, and they would just list all these cards that you could get. And one of them was Dreadnought. So I bought it. It didn't have the year associated with it. So whenever I got it, I just thought he was just a guy you could plug in wherever you wanted. And he looked kind of like Comrade Terror. So they made a perfect tag team. Because they were the same guy. They were the same guy.
No, when I bring a guy in, I storyboard my year, so I know exactly how guys are going to come in. And so when I introduced Iron Mane, I really can't remember how I did it, but it was probably in response because you know, you had Brute Massacre teaming with the Bounty Hunter, and Spike would have come in as well. So it just would have been a response, you know, equaling the arms race.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I think how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to kind of do that old WWF video kind of thing where you keep seeing, you know, coming Iron Mane, and you'll see, you know, in the jungle and bushes, and you'll hear, you know, like a lion's roar, and kind of that the build up until he shows up.
I like it.
I don't know, using vignettes and all that. Yeah,
I need to start doing that.
Well, as I said on the other podcast, I have a theater background, so I'm a theater teacher, and you know, I'm a director and everything. So my my federations tend to be very dramatic and theatrical.
It should be. It's wrestling.
Do you write those little scripts in, or do you just put it on the card? And
I kind of write like I do, like you do. I've kind of write ideas, like, you know, okay, I want this way to happen, and then I just kind of do it. I have a notebook, and then I'll just kind of, you know, write, okay, so and so is coming, or yeah, VTR of Iron Mane.
Nice.
yeah, when I do like my interview, I'll write down, like if I have like the launch pad with Johnny Rocket there, I'll write down what happened.
Okay.
Just so you know, I can go back and, oh yeah, this happened, or if I have run-ins or something, and then I write it on the side.
Yeah, I do that. If I have a complicated finisher, I'll kind of do that. I'll do a synopsis of the match, and then, what happened. Somebody else got involved, and this happened, and somebody got thrown out. Write all that little paragraph.
Cool.
Okay. So let's slide on over to the Kraken.
Kraken. Here he is. Hitman for Hire. Not to be confused with Mike Fortune Hitman for Hire.
Technically, that guy's my boss in the game.
It's true.
Yeah, he after his update, I think he might have captured the TV title one more time because he was a 3-time champ, but that's all he did. That card didn't do much.
Really?
Yep.
This card won my maid title. It had a pretty good run with it. That level 2 offense with a 3 straight through on level 3 was pretty impressive.
No, he just couldn't get the ball rolling for me. Now, he was feuding Star Warrior at the time, so that didn't help him much.
That Star Warrior upgrade that came out in the set was also pretty tough.
Santos was feuding Chaos.
Okay.
Oh no, or he was feuding Matador, I think, because that Citadel of the Elite had come in. So Alpha Force was taking on Chaos, and Santos probably got put against Matador, and Kraken was in that Citadel. So that's why Kraken was facing Star Warrior and then getting thrashed.
Makes sense. If that's who he's feuding against, then he would have a rough time.
Yeah. He beat him the first year, but lost the next 2. But his final year was against Nexus, and he beat him. So for me, he went out on top.
Yeah. Mike is a big Lord Nexus fan.
Yeah. If I have a chance to use Nexus in a tournament, I'll use Nexus. I've won many a tournament with Lord Nexus.
He's overlooked.
Yep. Especially back then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this Kraken in total finished off with 5 wins in his feuds, 4 losses and 1 tie. I don't think I wrote his. Oh, I did. His final record: 56 wins, 60 losses, 8 DQ losses, and 1 draw.
Wow. Pretty much 50-50 there.
Yeah. But it was funny because when I got that card update, that's when he joined the heavy hitters. So he was always taking on, the mid to low level guys.
Mm-hmm.
But when I gave him that update, hey, that's a big update. He's joining the Citadel. He canceled the shut down to Society of Death and moved on to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
And then, he couldn't hang with the big boys.
So he was just a loner for the 1 year, and that was when this card was introduced?
Yeah, I didn't keep him as a loner.
And then he joined the Unholy Alliance after that for a year.
Yeah, Mike, I don't follow the storyline for the books. I don't even read them. I have no idea what people do. I create my own storylines as I go along.
I use the storylines as like a guideline, and then sometimes, if it's not working out for me, I'll just like I have right now, Comrade Terror and the Executioner are the tag team champs, and by this time they should have been separated. But I'm going to keep them as tag team champs until maybe they drop it.
Oh, I always liked the Headsmen. They were great. We've talked about them before. For me, they were a great heel tag team. I loved them. But I'm surprised they're your champs in 2090.
Yeah. they just won it in a big tournament. They just beat the Greek gods for the the Greek gods had held it, I think, like 2 or 3 times. So they just kind of unthroned them. So
I'm surprised anytime I hear the Greek gods do anything.
That's true. So true.
But how did these updated Krakens do for you there, Brock? If
he did very well for me. He actually had a Galaxian title run. A pretty long one, too.
And you're just introducing, have you introduced this character yet? This
Yes, I have him. Yeah, in the so his original card did great for me. He won the interplanetary title and didn't drop it for for a legitimate almost 2 years.
Wow.
He beat everybody. So at the final one I had in the introducing of 2090, I had him come out and say that he was retiring the belt, and he was getting rid of the Society of Death, and he was retiring. Nobody could beat him. And he kind of introduced the Hitman for Hire match. He put the belt on a pole and challenged the top 3 guys that thought was tough enough to come out. And the first guy was Renegade. And they had a good match. I don't know how Renegade does for you guys, but he always seems to be very solid. Even if he doesn't win, he's got, he stays in there pretty long. And then he did defeat Renegade, and then Genghis Khan came out, and Genghis Khan actually took out Kraken pretty quickly and became the new interplanetary champion. So we'll see, and then at the end of that event, Wolf beat Thanos for the championship. And this is the first time, talk about not following the storyline, that Bounty Hunter came out.
Oh.
Okay.
And attacked the Wolf, and then the Kraken came out and joined him, and then the anti-men kind of ran out to even the odds.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, it's funny for me. He didn't do much, three-time tag, 3-time GWF TV champion. But what he's most famous for in my Fed is I have a massive tag tournament where it's 32 tag teams.
Wow.
And I bring in tag teams from different promotions, it's because I run different promotions. And Kraken won the first 3 tournaments. I called it the Solarcade Cup. And him and Genghis Khan upset everybody. I wouldn't expect those guys to do it. And then Kraken and Akuma, the ninja, I brought, he was the first ever bootleg. So Kraken needed a partner, and he had Akuma as his bodyguard back then for me. And so he teamed up with Akuma, and he won the tag time. And then the final time, he needed a partner. He couldn't find a partner because, he had pretty much ditched everybody. But I had Matador doing the Randy Savage thing, where he first, who am I going to go with? Who am I going to go with? And I had Kraken come out and say, hey, nobody knows who you are. You're an unproven commodity. You want to prove yourself. Join me in this tournament. So they did, and he won the tournament. So yeah, Kraken. He won one of my most prestigious tag tournament 3 times in a row. So when he retired, the Solarcade Cup was renamed after him. So now it's just called the Kraken Cup.
Very cool.
So he did some stuff. He's not Hall of Fame because I use a point. I use a point system. So you got to do a lot to make it in. But he was just on the cusp. He might make it in as a builder later on because I have him owning the NGA, my mid promotion. So he actually owns his own promotion now.
He was always the number 2 bad guy for me behind Thanos.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely very successful in my Fed.
How would you update this card?
Easy. The leg lift on number 2 or level 3, that's a level 2 move on number 1. I said that the most backward way possible. His number 1 move on level 3 offense is a level 2 move. I'd move everything up 1 and add another level 3 move.
Yeah, so you can keep you down.
Keep you down. Yep.
Yeah, that's a difference between a a level, a 3-level guy and a 4-level guy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Keep a guy down.
Yep.
Because that's so important. That's because he's still got a +2 finisher back then, right?
Yep. Hitman's card.
Yeah. Yeah, where he'd give you basically a gourd buster, I think it was, but put a card on your forehead.
I don't
Yes,
remember.
yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Just became a gourd buster.
Got the book right here. I could double check, but I think you're.
Put his business card on the mat and give you a gourd buster onto the business card.
Pretty clever.
If I'm correct, now it's been, 25 years.
Yeah, it's a falling face slam. So yeah, gourd buster. And then he places the playing card on the mat. Then he delivers he puts the card on the mat, like you said, and then he gives the gourd buster.
Yeah, it was such a weird thing that I can. That's the only thing and I probably even had him do that. But I don't think I probably would have had him do it every match. It only would have been against, the big matches. He would have.
Somebody had a hit.
Would have busted out the card. But yeah, I'd probably take away that. Make it so that level 1 move would be a down 3.
Yeah. It's a glaring weakness.
Yeah. I can live with a +2 finisher if you can keep you down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you Mike?
Yeah, I agree with Brock to move everything up, and then I might even give him another reversal on level 2. He's got 2 now, and he's got 3 on 1, and I might even give him another reversal.
Oh, look at Mike here. Mike's just going all out.
He is. He does not have a single tag on his card, which is interesting.
I know, that's what I found weird because, I don't think I use him as a tag guy after that. Because with this card, I probably even thought about reuniting him and Bishop Hell. But without any tags, I think that's probably why I just stayed away from it.
Yeah. Well, in 2091, I don't want to spoil anything, but he does get a very legitimate tag team partner with the Warmongers. If Michael doesn't mind me spoiling it, I could say.
Oh no, I've got the booklet. I just I haven't gotten it to you yet.
All right, it is Thantos. So him and Thantos become a tag team in 2091.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, that is news to me.
The Warmongers.
Oh, see, you spoiled it for Mike, not for me. So.
Okay.
That's what I get for not following the storylines.
He deserves to have things spoiled if it's been 40 years since he's.
Well, he doesn't follow the books anyway, so
exactly. So it doesn't matter.
But I'm shocked at that. Really, Thantos.
Yep.
Huh.
The Warmongers, the greatest tag team of all time, right up there with Comrade Terror and Dreadnought.
You learn something new. But we can break into our topic of house rules.
Yeah.
Now, I know I've had some influence on the game with house rules. I've actually changed how the game is played because 2 of my house rules, because I've been playing the game so damn long and made it to all the cons that I literally forced my house rule on everybody for one tournament, which is the double DQ.
Yes.
And so it started during the Canada Cup, and I didn't want everybody to just get DQ'd all the time, so I created the double DQ. You got to roll it twice. And it's just pretty much become standard now. But during the first few Galacticons, I had everybody play that way. Now it's just kind of what they do, a lot of people. Because if not, you're getting DQs easy.
Mm-hmm. I think it's official tournament rules now, isn't it? Double DQ?
I do not know.
I'm not sure either, but it seems to be at Galacticon at least, which is the only official tournaments. So,
yeah. And the other house rule I had put in, and there's proof of it written in some of the old newsletters. When you get pile drove outside of the in the early charts, Mike, if you rolled 10 or 11 or a 12, depending on your ring rating, it was an automatic count out. But what I did is, because I'd have like no DQ matches, but you'd get counted out. So I'd raise the pin up by 1.
Oh, okay.
Which made sense. And so Tom asked, saw what, we were doing in a tournament. And he's like, that's a great idea. And suddenly it became part of the game. And now it's part of the game.
Yeah, I think I have those early charts. They're the black and white ones, right? I actually prefer those. And for like my other Legends feds that are more like the 80s or 70s, I'll actually use those as opposed to the new charts. So I guess that's kind of a house rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a multitude of house rules.
On my Twitch stream, I use a variation of the double DQ rule. This is something Kevin Butcher taught me. Was the first DQ attempt that if you fail, you re-roll one more time. So you get one re-roll on the DQ roll instead of every DQ roll being you get 2 chances. And basically the explanation behind that is, okay, the referee he warned you, don't do that again. But then if you do it again, like he's not going to give you a second chance to not do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and my I stole a few things from Premier Soccer. So, I have my guys move up and down. Depending on their points, they can slowly advance to the top fed.
Mm-hmm.
What I do in my GWF is I use a yellow card system. So I only do it in the GWF. So if you fail your DQ, you get a yellow card. And then second yellow card, and the third one is an automatic DQ. So you
don't even roll.
You roll.
Okay.
You basically get 3 chances, but it's only 1 roll.
Okay. That's kind of cool too. Another thing that I used to do, I don't do it anymore, is if you won the initiative on doubles, you would start on level 2 offense.
I do something similar. If I roll initiative and I roll 12 and the other guy rolls double ones, I do the ambush.
Okay.
So you get jumped and you start on level 2.
Okay, makes sense.
But that rarely happens.
And also mentioning Snake Eyes and boxcars there, I used to play, if you rolled Snake Eyes on a pin attempt, even if you had a 4-1 automatic pin, and if you rolled a 12, it's an automatic kick out, even if you're mathematically incapable of kicking out.
I do that. It's a 1, 2, oh!
Because with all these add 1 moves now, like you can actually get your fatigue up to a point where you can't kick out on the first pin attempt.
Yeah.
With some of these things.
Now, did you say when you roll for initiative, you roll 2 dice, or do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I only roll the 1 dice, but if they have the same, so if they both get 2, then I have my house rules. I have a special chart that I made, and then I roll on that and see what happens. I might use one of the specialty cards, like the referee or an announcer card, or some of the other things that I've come up with. Like, I do have an ambush, and or something like that. Or if it's a face that wins the initiative again, then like the heel misses the ambush and the face takes over.
Okay.
Yeah, I use a variation of the champ rule, or the hometown rule as they call it. So all the champions get their pin reduced by 1.
I see that one. It's becoming more and more common.
Yeah, I've done that since day 1, back in 86 or 87. That was my first house rule. I've always reduced the champion's pin by 1. It's a champion's advantage. They got the title.
That's good.
They got to keep it. And another one I've just added, and I can't remember. I heard Chad Olson talking about it, and I used it for my Hollywood promotion, and I really liked it. So what I do is, your agility and power ratings, your reversals. So I started at a 7. And so somebody said is, say Iron Mane's wrestling Kraken, and Iron Mane, Kraken rolls his agility. Iron Mane's got a -2 agility, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Kraken could do the move if he rolls a 5 or under. And then if somebody's got a plus agility, well, then you add to it, but they could still fail.
That way it's not automatic. I like that. I would never be able to do the math, but
And so I put it out. I tested it in my Hollywood promotion, and I really liked it. It added, it didn't make everything automatic.
Mhm.
So those poor guys who got the reversal on level 1 on on the first move on level 2 offense or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not an automatic reversal for them anymore. They still have a chance.
And it doesn't take away the advantage that you have either. There's still the odds are still in your favor to roll below or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that. That makes sense.
So
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sometimes I'll ignore that too as a house rule, especially if it doesn't seem logical that they would, like he's going to pick him up and then he can't, it's like wait, he's 400 pounds. How could he, do that?
Is this guy that dumb?
Yeah.
He's going to try that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
plus
get
4 power.
that.
He's picking up Man Mountain. How is he doing that?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that one a lot. Another one that I've seen going around lately is, and I would never do this because I'm just not patient enough, is people in title matches are doing the pin roll 3 times, and you have to fail 3 times. Like it's the 3 count, 1, 2, 3. And that's what they do for their main title. And I guess it adds more suspense and drama to a title match, but it would just take too long, I think.
There's a game, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, from Play Games called Face to the Mat.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Okay. And they have the wrestlers have like a rating, 11 through 35. So that's what you have to do. You have to roll 3 times. If you roll outside their pin rating, then you kick out. But you have to, they do the 1, 2, 3 count on that.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I just think I would add so much time to matches.
Exactly, yeah.
Probably my most controversial one is everybody gets an automatic kick out. So your first go attempt is a kick out. Your foot goes on the rope, or that's usually how I do it with the heel. If I fail it, their foot's on the rope. The good guy, they just manage to, lift their shoulder. And so it stops a lot of upsets for me, but when an upset happens, it's huge.
Yeah.
Because, I don't mind upsets, but, when I'm, and it was my friend Rob that actually got me using that one because we'd start our feds. He had Vanity win some major title for him. I think it was Interplanetary, and he was pissed.
Hey, it happens.
And he's like,
"I'll
nope."
shoot.
He literally stopped the match. He's like, "Nope, this isn't happening. We're restarting." And he goes, everyone automatically gets a kick out because I can't remember who was the champ, but they he rolled like a double 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nope, not happening. Vanity's not becoming my champion. And he literally got mad in the middle of a match. Nope. And so he created a rule on the spot.
That's always been a part of wrestling, though.
Yep.
The upsets always happen quick. Like they always catch you by surprise or something like that.
And he was pretty up. I think it was maybe even Star Warrior who was a champ, and he got hit with the +1 finisher and rolled double 1s. And he was like, "Nope." It was just but I kind of took it, and I'm like, okay, everyone gets an automatic kick out. So yeah, I got a few house rules that I use, but I keep them kind of all in my head, and
Another house rule I have is if you hit your finisher, but the guy doesn't get pinned, like the first or second time, I always make it that I'll give him still the fatigue, but I'll make it like, oh, he reversed it, or if it's a figure 4 leg lock, oh, he kicked him, he pushed him off, or
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've done that, like where they just keep kicking out or breaking it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly, yeah, because then it makes the finisher more special than,
Right.
oh, he hits him
Keeps
3
kicking
times
out.
and he can't get him. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Not a
what
very
I
good
would
finish.
do, it's something like the master lock. The master lock got put on, right? So I'd roll the 6. Oh, Star Warrior, kicks out, and then I'd roll master lock again. I wouldn't have him break it. He'd keep it on.
Yeah,
I do that
makes
too.
sense.
Yeah.
So submissions are just kept on until either I roll a different move or the match ends. But I keep the submission on. If it's a submission hold, I keep it on.
That makes sense. It makes total sense.
They're just fighting it. They're going down. It's 1, 2.
Yeah.
they're
Rolling
busting
around
you.
or whatever.
Yeah. The house rule I have, like you talked about the master lock, if you put some guy in a figure 4 or something, you're working him, and then you roll into the ropes, I just ignore. I'll roll again because, like, come on, you just worked his leg. Now you're gonna run him into the ropes.
Yep.
That's the way the game works.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I can't think of any other ones that I've seen lately or that I use myself.
Yeah, see, it's a whole. When you play a game long enough, you'll start to develop your own, just ways. Like, for me, add ones. When I use an add one, I use it once in a match, and then it can't be repeated. It just becomes a down 3 move. Because I wrestled a match with Grovel, because he's got like 3 or 4 add ones, if I'm correct.
But no finisher, right?
Yeah, no finisher. And so I'm wrestling with somebody, and I have like 23 pins on him.
Never rolled a pin.
And I'm like, this is absolutely stupid. And he ended up losing. Like, the person he was
should be dead.
the person he was fighting should have been dead from blood loss, because you're supposed to bleed after like 3 or 4 pinfalls. And I'm like, this makes no sense. And so that one match made me change my entire outlook on add ones.
It's usually all it takes. It's just one goofy experience like that just like, this doesn't make sense.
And it was and we've discussed this before. Add one moves are a game breaker. You put somebody with an add one, you just might as well give them another finisher. Some guys have 3 or 4 and a finisher.
Yeah, they're pretty common now too.
So yeah, you get the add one once, and that's it.
I do like that one.
Yeah, that's another one of my house rules, because
that's a good one.
They're just way too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You just gave somebody finishers on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Well, here's my level 6 move. It's an add one, but of course you get pinned, so now it's counting for 2.
Right, because that's a 2 token swing right there on one move.
Yeah.
Because the finisher doesn't add one; it just adds one for the fatigue.
Yeah. And so that's why for me, that's I've been playing the game long enough, and I've done enough games where I can spot something where it's a game breaker, and that was a game breaker. And so that's another house rule I do, and it's an add one, and it's literally add one.
Add one indefinitely.
Yeah, it's one and done for the match.
Nope, you got to keep adding them. Yeah, another thing I do, which is just for reporting purposes, I still roll and everything, but on choice situations, I always use, when I report, like say somebody wins with a choice F, instead of saying the move that's on the choice, I use the move that's on the card for reporting. Just say like, oh, they missed it, or they didn't hit it, or they hit it, and then instead of using the 6 moves that are on that chart for every person.
I think I do both. It just depends on the match.
If it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, like one of them on the early card, it was a bear hug. You put somebody with a bear hug, and I had Massive do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
'cause they-
Massive won a match with a bear hug, and it's his only submission victory.
Yeah, he'd slap a bear hug on somebody.
But-
They'd be in trouble.
It would make sense for him.
Right. But he's not going to do, let me see. I have the choice chart here. Maybe not.
Yeah,
The
but
current
yeah,
choice chart.
he's not going to do a plancha.
Right. Yeah, like what's on here? A moonsault's on here.
Yeah.
Scorpion Deathlock. I don't see everyone doing that. Tombstone Pile Driver. Yeah, there's just some moves on there that not everybody can do.
No.
That's why I prefer the black and white choice chart to the older
Mhm.
one, because they're a little more, like you said, realistic moves,
Right.
that most wrestlers could do.
Hmm.
I think I might take your idea though and use those old charts for my Legends Fed because they kind of make more sense for that.
Yeah,
They definitely
no,
do.
And I know there are Legends charts out there now. I just don't have them.
Well, there's vintage Legends charts that were introduced with expansion 7, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't even have a death jump on them.
No,
Yeah.
I can't see Lou Thez mounting a turnbuckle. And,
He would. Him and Strangler Lewis.
Yeah, and into the ropes on those vintage ones they're not throwing the guy off. It's like they're tangled in the ropes, and then
Yeah.
they might pull them off or, trip their opponent.
They're
Yeah.
neat. They slow matches down for sure. I tried using them for a little while on stream, but they would just take it slowing the matches down too much, especially if you ended up on out of the ring, because it was almost like the current into the ropes chart as far as like what the result would be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of level 2 offense takeovers and stuff like that. Because like the into the ropes, they weren't throwing them out of the ring. They were tangled up in the ropes or in the turnbuckle and ended up outside the ring kind of
Yeah.
deal.
And I think on 12, don't they fall out the ring and hit their head on the floor?
Yeah, I think it's an automatic count out or something.
Yeah, and I had like 2-3 matches that had the same result. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. It's always fun when that happens on the same card too.
Yeah.
Fans
I
are
just
throwing
imagine
garbage.
exactly. That's what I imagined. People boo. You're like, oh.
It's a riot.
and you have those like I've seen some of those old. I remember watching Pat Patterson and I can't remember. I think it was Buddy Rogers. And Patterson loses because he misses a drop kick. Misses a drop kick and gets pinned off the missed drop kick. Like what?
Yeah. Knocks the
I
wind out of
watched
him.
it.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
I
Hit him
watched
in the
it,
back
and
of the
I'm
head.
I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what? Completely caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
Rogers?
different.
Go ahead. Rock.
I was just gonna say it was just a different time.
Yeah. Well, Rogers had, if you see any old films of him, he used to do the beautiful like run and throw himself through or over the ropes.
Mhm.
And then in his book, the Tim Hornbaker book, they talk about how he could precisely time it so he could put his foot in an ice bucket. Like, and that would be it. He'd twist his ankle and he couldn't continue the match. And, it was just
Nice.
had so much agility and just a master of how, he can control his body through that.
That's cool. Those old finishes are great.
And getting thrown out of the ring is an art. Like I had some friends watch it, and I got tossed out of the ring, and I hit the concrete, and they thought I died, like that I was wiped out, and they're like, how did you just because a ring's 3.5 feet off the ground, plus another 4 feet, so and you get tossed, so I'm literally 8 feet, I'm dropping onto concrete, but it's just knowing how to fall properly.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it does take some talent and selling it. So people really think, you're down and out. And these are some close friends of mine. They're like, we thought you were legitimately out. So him throwing in an ice bucket, I can see how you do it.
Yeah, I never as a manager like to get thrown over the ropes. I'd always hold on to the ropes and I would go in between and let the guy hit me, and then I'd do that rocking back and forth and they could hit me in the seesaw or something else. One time I had perfected at our gym the flare. I worked months at doing the flare flip over the top I started, the ring post was against a wall. So I did it where I'd stick in between and I'd get my feet on the wall and then kind of, flip myself over until I was able just to do it on my own. So we had a match and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. My guy was getting pinned. I slide in, I hit the other guy and he, no sells it. He turns around and I do the Heenan thing, whoa, 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 in the back of the ropes. And I was going to back up and then he was supposed to throw me and I was supposed to do the flare. Well, he picks me up and holds me over his head. And then he tosses me into the rope. So now I'm like off balance. And then he just shoved me and I go, I knew I was like, I'm not going to be able to get up. I just stuck in between the second and third turnbuckle and I rolled out of the ring and my shoulder was killing me. And I'm like, oh, and one of the guys that we worked for was a paramedic. And so I go to the back, I go, did I break my collarbone? I was like, he goes, can you raise your arm? I go, yeah. He goes, then you didn't break it. He said, and when I went home the next day, I was black and blue. So I just kind of hit something. But the worst part was that was the first time my mom, dad, and sister came to see me perform. And my mom was so fearful of me getting hurt. So we went to dinner after. And I had to no sell the arm. I couldn't let on that my arm was killing me. So.
Oh no.
I saw one out of the ring move. I was in a battle royal. I was wrestling for the RWA and I had only been wrestling for maybe a year. But we had this one guy named Man Mountain Mike, who was easily, I'd say, one of the top 2 or 3 strongest guys I've ever been in the ring with. We had a body slam contest once and we had this guy, One Man Wrecker, who was a legitimate 400 plus pounds. And we have this one, short guy named Pete Rock, who ended up actually working for WWF, WCW, ECW, did all these dark matches for him. But we were going to do a body slam contest and Pete was just jacked. And Pete was supposed to win it. And he was going to slam Wrecker. But Mike comes out and scoop slams Wrecker without any help. Just picks him up 450 pounds, and then everybody's like, and then Mike realized he's not supposed to win and do it, so he fakes his back hurt and drops him. Oh, my back. And so this guy was crazy strong, so he was supposed to pick a guy up for a power bomb. And the guy he was picking up was probably about 130 pounds. Mike was a 300 pounder, but he picked him up so fast that he let go. He was just like, whoop. And the guy literally went airborne.
Oh no!
Out of the ring. And so he's on a 15-foot arc, just sailing through the air, heading towards the concrete. And it was in slow motion. In the battle royal, you just see everybody's like, "Oh, Steve's dead."
Did he land on his feet? I hope.
Oh yeah, he landed on his feet and kind of rolled.
Okay, good.
He got up and he was pissed.
Yeah, how do you say I didn't do that on purpose?
But that was one of the last time Mike got to wrestle, because it was just, dude, you're so strong, but you're sloppy strong.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, like I said, getting thrown out of the ring, that can take some talent.
Good stuff, guys.
But yeah, those would all be my house rules.
Very good. Very good.
Haven't added any. Like I said, the most recent one I'm adding is that a Jody one, and I don't know who created it, but if you know who you are, hey, write it in the message board, and we'll give you props.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out for sure.
Because that's a good one.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we've covered everything, unless you guys have something else. But
no,
Michael, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
No, not at this time.
All right.
your friend's band,
Robot. Well, I already plugged him, so yeah.
Killer Robots.
Killer Robot.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
You got it. We'll get some information, put links down below for them,
Great.
As well as all the other podcasts and stuff, Filsinger Games related. The official Filsinger Games podcast, Roll Up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Lee Longpre's Dizzy Dice, Under Further Review, Heartland Wrestling. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but they'll hopefully be listed below. I will get that all figured out. Our automatic uploads, there's some issue there, but I can just go back and add all that stuff later. So they should be there for you now. Until next time, thank you, Michael.
Thank you for
joining
having
us.
me.
You bet. We'll have you on again so you can be the first 3-time appearance. Just to rub it in everyone's faces.
Great.
Because that's what we do here. Yeah, until next time, have a good night, everybody.
Take care.
Night, everyone.